Yo guys, hope you guys are doing all well. Today I'm going to be breaking down a 1 to 10 RR trade that I took on GU, making me 6.5% in one single day. So I'm going to be breaking down exactly why I entered this trade and why I was actually looking for this in the first place. So we're going to quickly jump on the higher time frames like the 4 hour and start getting an overall idea where the market wants to head. So seeing this, we can clearly see that we're heading in a bullish market. We're heading in a bullish uptrend as we're respecting low and breaking higher. Then the first thing that I started seeing is that our last push to the upside was from this low to this high right here. And right now we're sitting within that pullback, that retracement, that complex pullback, I like to call it. So that does mean that price is now coming to an area, retracing to an area before then reversing to make that next main push in our direction. So I started seeing that we're sitting now within that complex pullback of this last main push. So when we jump on something like the hourly and we start looking at the structure, we can clearly see that now we have started that complex pullback because we're having multiple legs to the downside. We're having one leg, retracement. This is now our most recent leg to the downside, breaking our previous low. And now potentially we're getting another leg. Now it does look like potentially we could be breaking higher or we could just be heading further down. We do need to see that in the upcoming days, but all that matters is that I managed to catch a move within this area right now. So jumping on the 15-minute, what I started looking for this morning. So price opened up around here. We had Asia session. Price opened up this morning just around this high for London session. The first few things that I started marking out this London session, I was looking potentially for buys as well. And the idea was that we had this weak high right here, which could be your smart money trap. We tapped into it knowing that this normally leads with a reaction to the downside to then follow through. But what we actually need from the reaction when price taps into a smart money trap is an inducement low in this case to then continue to the upside. So we had that tap, but the inducement that I wanted to take was this break and test. As you can see on the higher time frame, we had the break of structure to the upside, leaving a low, which was break, test, which is a medium inducement, which I like to call a break and test. Gives it a better confirmation that this low will actually hold and sustain some move when it gets induced. So after this inducement to the downside, inside our key time window of this low, I started instantly looking for that reversal to the upside. Also seeing right below the break and test inducement, we have a zone that is our decisional zone before we had that break of structure to the upside. So potentially this could be a relevant zone. So now jumping on the lower time frame, like the 1 minute, I started trying to see what price is doing right after that medium inducement. So we had the medium inducement a little bit outside of our key time window quite early on in the day around 1 p.m. I like to trade from 2 till 3 p.m. So we did have that inducement a little bit outside the key time window. Price left a low, and what price likes to do a lot of the time, especially if it induces a little bit early, price likes to come in and induce the low that was created after the inducement, having another stab at it to then continue in the right direction closer to the actual key time window. So what I started seeing after this inducement is that price left the low right below here. I marked it out as a minor inducement. Price then came and induced that low one more time. And this is where I started getting interested in entering the market. So the first part that I started seeing is that we had that inducement low. Then we had an internal break of structure to the upside. This is quite an aggressive entry, but the reason why I entered off this aggressive entry is because I had all my other confluences stacked up from earlier analysis. So when we look at like the 15-minute, and you count the amount of confluences that we have, first of all, are we pro trend? Yes, our overall trend in the long term is bullish. Okay, do we have something like a inducement point? Yes, we have that break and test inducement. Do we have a zone that we have to mitigate? Yes, we have that. We also have a smart money trap that price is reacting from, potentially inducing low to then head higher. Do we have a target? Yes, we do. We have all this buildup of liquidity to the upside. We have a nice trend line buildup of liquidity. So you're adding all these confluences together and you're just making it into one single trade. The only one that normally I really like to be quite strict with is our key time window. But of course, the clocks have changed right now. So the key time window does vary for New York between UK timing and American timing because their clocks have already changed. Our clocks are changed on the 29th, but price likes to kind of play out from 1 p.m. to around 3 p.m. So I try to kind of look between there, at least just for this month. Normally it's between 2 and 3, but just for this month alone, I'm looking for around 1 p.m. until around 3 p.m. So technically it is within the key time window because that's the interest I'm having at the moment, 1 till 3. But my actual strict key time window is from 2 till 3. So it wasn't really within there, but I still took it as everything else aligned so nicely. So the reason why I actually went for a 1 to 10 on this trade and didn't cut it short at a 1 to 3, which I normally do, is because it technically wasn't counter trend. It wasn't going against my overall higher time frame trend. So I was expecting price to potentially, from this move right here, to potentially create a new higher high. So I was more than happy to hold this for 1 to 10, especially finding out how small my stop loss was in this trade. And you'll see in just a second when I show you how I entered. So the entry point, I had an internal break of structure, which normally is one of my more aggressive type of trades when I have an internal break of structure and then I look for an entry point. I normally look for a full break of structure. I look for some sort of 2 legs in price, or I like to market execute seeing failure of supply. So in this case, we had a internal break of structure, leaving behind an RIFC, nice little RIFC right here that came from a minor inducement, clearly breaking higher. So I was expecting price to hold from this area. Then price did make another break and test right below it. It's a small inducement point. It isn't something crazy, but it is a break and test as we had the internal BOS test, then push up. So we had this little break and test. Price tapped me in, hovered a little bit around my entry point, even going a little bit in drawdown. I did manage to get a 4.7 pip stop loss from this trade, meaning that I was able to get this 1 to 10 in literally 47 pips, which is crazy, of course. But when you trade with a strategy like this and you're this accurate, it's actually really easy to get smaller stop loss sizes. So this is something that I benefit from a lot. That's why I'm able to catch a lot of 1 to 10 trades and get these high percentages from one single trade. So after price tapped me in, after I set my limit, price hovered a little bit, but then just started skyrocketing to the upside. Around this point, I was a little bit wary if price is going to continue to the upside, because now this could also be a potential smart money trap. Reason why that could be is because this is the zone that led to the inducement low. So a lot of the times what I've seen from my data, these tend to be false zones. Price doesn't actually respect these zones. So as you can see, price tapped into it, reacted, and then just followed through the zone, not actually respecting it. So at this point, I was a little bit wary of, okay, will it hit my 1 to 10? And started actually slowing down around here a little bit after taking out these highs. But I think there was some news to do with Iran. I think Trump said something like there's been some talks with Iran or something like that, and it absolutely skyrocketed to my TP. So it benefited me in some way. It wasn't any news that was planned on like Forex Factory or anything else that you look at. It was, I think, more of like a tweet or a speech, like a random speech, and ended up just skyrocketing straight to my TP, which it did benefit me. I did go break even just after these highs were taken, as this could be, it was this high right here, as this could be a potential break and test area that price could induce to keep heading to the downside. So you had that break. If this wasn't a inducement point, it actually ended up being a break of structure to the downside. This could be your break, test, induce to then head lower. So I did go break even right here just in case price now wants to induce this and absolutely ruin my trade. To be safe in the trade, I did go break even, set my stop loss at break even, and finished the trade off strong. So these are the type of trades that you actually see happen quite a lot. This is the model, the idea or model that I gave in my free PDF that I keep tagging in all my videos, because you guys keep asking me, oh, can you show me one of your strategies? Can you do more trade breakdowns? And I gave a full PDF for free on one of my models, and this is one of the actual models that I use within that PDF. So this is something you guys can go learn straight away inside one of the free PDFs. I'll link it down below. You'll see it in the description. But this is how I managed to make 6.5% in one single day, putting me up on multiple accounts, and hopefully you guys can learn from this, and trades like this can put you guys up 6.5%, because that is quite a large percentage. For some people that's their monthly target. That's even more than the monthly target. So being able to do that from a single trade is amazing from an actual high probability setup. So these are some of my A tier setups, a little bit higher probability. So I hope you guys enjoyed the breakdown. Let me know if you want to see anything more specific in my next breakdown. But apart from that, I have nothing else to say about this trade. Just absolutely beautiful trade. A lot of my students ended up taking this trade as well. Some of my students actually are requesting some payouts from this trade, so really proud of them. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. Thank you for watching.